Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once asked a powerful question. He said, "Do you then ponder how the supreme of human evils, the surest mark of the base and cowardly, is not death, but the fear of death? I urge you to discipline yourself against such fear, direct all your thinking, exercises, and reading this way, and you will know the only path to human freedom." This idea is perfectly captured in the story of Lucius, a man who lived in ancient Rome. Imagine him, sitting in the gilded shadows of his magnificent villa on Palatine Hill. The marble floors are cool beneath his feet, but his heart is racing with a fiery anxiety that has nothing to do with the midday sun. A feast of roasted pheasant and spiced wine sits untouched before him. Why? Because he saw a servant cough that morning. And now, in every corner, in every shadow, Lucius sees death approaching. For Lucius, death isn't a distant, abstract concept. It's a predator, lurking behind every pillar of his estate, ready to pounce. His life, once filled with power and influence, has become a series of frantic calculations to avoid this end. He no longer attends the Senate, terrified of a hidden dagger in the crowded halls. He avoids the public baths, certain that pestilence waits for him in the steam. He even begins to fear sleep, haunted by the thought that his breath might simply stop in the quiet of the night. Think about it. Lucius is one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He has high walls, countless guards, and every luxury imaginable. Yet he lives in a prison. A prison built not of stone, but of his own mind, bound by the invisible chains of what if. He is shackled, not by an enemy, but by his own terror. One afternoon, Lucius stands on his balcony, looking down into his perfectly manicured gardens. He sees Theron, an old veteran who lost an arm fighting in the Germanic wars. Theron now works as a humble gardener on the estate. But what catches Lucius's attention is that Theron is laughing. Genuinely laughing, while sharing a simple crust of bread with a stray dog. This sight disturbs Lucius. He calls down, his voice trembling with a mix of confusion and desperation. "How can you be so light-hearted, old man? Don't you know that any moment could be your last? The plague, the blade, the rot, they wait for us all." Theron looks up, his weathered face breaking into a calm, knowing smile. "Lord Lucius," he replies, his voice steady, "I died 1,000 times in the trenches of the North before I ever felt the cold steel. I realized then that the spear in the dark is only a moment of pain, but the dread of the spear is a lifetime of torture. I decided that if I am to meet the gods today, I would like them to find a man who is busy living, not a man who is already buried in his own fear." Those words hit Lucius like a physical blow. He looks at his locked gates, his untouched wine, his opulent but empty life. And in that moment, he understands. In his desperate attempt to preserve his life, he had completely forgotten to possess it. By fearing the end of his freedom, he had already surrendered the very freedom he was trying so hard to protect. This story beautifully illustrates Epictetus's teaching. Death itself is a natural event, an unavoidable part of life. But the fear of death, that is a psychological slavery. On the surface, Lucius has all the markers of a free and powerful Roman citizen. But in reality, he is a slave to his own imagination. Theron, on the other hand, with his poverty and his physical scars, is the only truly free man in the story. Why? Because he has disciplined his mind to accept mortality. He has faced the idea of his own end, and in doing so, has reclaimed his power to live fully and joyfully in the present moment. He isn't waiting for death. He is busy living. This is the core of Stoic wisdom. It's not about being emotionless or reckless. It's about understanding what is within our control and what is not. The moment of our death is not in our control, but how we live each moment leading up to it, that is entirely up to us. We can choose to be like Lucius, trapped in a golden cage of fear, or we can choose to be like Theron, finding joy in a crust of bread and the company of a stray dog, truly free. If this story connected with you and made you think, please give this video a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more content that explores these timeless ideas. Thanks for watching.